Hey guys, welcome to today's conversation with Guulshan Roy, well known, one of the most innovative architects in Mangalore. And he heads a studio under his own name, Guulshan Roy and Associates.
Architects.
Where talented, professionals, around 20 people.
No, we are 15. Yeah, I call right now it as a boutique studio because we have got down our numbers. Earlier we were around 25.
So why quality over quantity?
You can say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus I found having and managing a boutique studio is much better than making a big corporate thing.
Okay. Before we begin, I want to share my intention with this podcast series as I want to document knowledge and creative frameworks that might otherwise remain locked within the minds of exceptional practitioners like Guulshan. And these are the conversations, are my attempt to make visible the invisible thinking framework that shapes our built environment. And to my architecture enthusiast tuning in, thank you so much for your curiosity. Because architecture, in its essence, is not just about buildings, it's about intentionally choreographing the spaces, human experiences,
Yes.
where light, material, void converge.
I would say it's more of you're telling a story to your end user.
Right.
Yeah, creating spaces, by bringing in light, air, bringing in nature in. So you're curating a space for an end user.
Let's have a deep conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining in.
Thanks, Clinton. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, Guulshan is again inspiration for budding architects out there, and he has taken up grand, luxurious projects and is evolved over 22 decades as an architect. And what I see in Guulshan is, in spite of being successful, he never stops learning. He continually invests in new knowledge, skills, techniques. What are you learning at the moment?
At the moment, I've enrolled in one of the courses in Netherlands to learn classicalism, on classical architecture. I know many people would be modernist, would not like it, when they say, why you're going to learn classical. But I think I need to learn because there's so much into it which we have all forgotten. I really want to understand that too, because modernism right now, everyone is into it and everyone does it. But classicalism, one which has been totally lost. And, I feel that we need to get back and understand, how the actual proportions, why it was done that way. For me, learning has been always, I pick some subject and I've always been learning. Let it be architecture, let it be visualization, let it be in spiritual practice, let it be in my paintings. Just a year back, I did a course on watercolors with an internationally renowned artist.
Interesting.
That was in USA. And so I keep doing this. There's no end to it. It's not learning watercolor. Basically, it was a masterclass. Yeah. I've been doing watercolor paintings, but the style, what he does, he was very impressionist kind of an artist. And I love that kind of a painting. I wanted really to, get a guidance under him. So I found this masterclass which happened in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I went because my friend was staying in Scottsdale. So I thought, I can have a vacation as well as, do this masterclass.
Right.
Recently, I was giving some talks in places. So, and I named my talk as What's Next. So for me, it's always what next in architecture, to my paintings, to the life learnings, there's never an end to it. So what's coming up next? I really don't know what's coming up next. But this time I found, I'll do this in classicalism. Okay, next time I don't know where I'll go.
Mm-hmm. So you want to do projects in classicalism?
See, I've been getting projects like that. Mm-hmm. I've been getting projects where people are approaching me to do this classical architecture. But right now I thought I should do justice to these projects by understanding the right proportions, the right things, because there is so much to it. Each cornice or each, there's so much of thought given to it. Right. Even for the column, what is the width of the column to the height. So understanding those things, I think, is very important. So I thought, let me learn this. Mm-hmm. I do all kinds of work. We have contemporary projects, architecture, we do modernism, classicalism. So there's nothing we do only classical or only this.
So you're not defined by a style.
Yeah. Whatever my end user wants it.
So you make that happen.
Yeah, happen.
So what part in the classical architecture you like the most? Like columns? Like
No, it's nothing like that. It's basically the look and feel of that. How it is, like, especially when you
balance
travel.
and harmony.
Yeah, the rhythm, the symmetry. Basically, in classicalism, what happens, there's a rhythm to the building. Okay, you can see that there's a symmetry to the building. The buildings they look beautiful over the years too. Yeah, that's what I have found. And in Europe, like right now, what's happening is there is a uprising movement which is happening in the classicalism.
They're bringing back.
They're bringing back classicalism. I'm going for another conference which is happening in Oslo in May. Again, it's on this subject itself, on the uprising. So just to understand, like, how that uprising movement is going and what's it all about. This time when I went to Munich, they shown us a street where there was modern buildings and very contemporary, and there are the old buildings. So even I could feel that these old buildings had a soul, whereas the modern buildings, which were very plain and all that, absolutely didn't have soul. It couldn't connect with people, neither with me too.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the difference when you walk?
Yeah, when you walk, you feel it. You feel like you try to see these buildings in, like in awe, and you try to understand, like, the scale.
Right.
Many people have the notion, like, classical buildings are quite it was made for that day and not for this day, and there are lots of debates keep happening.
So right now I'm appreciating the Greek civilization.
No, that's what. See, it's not only Greek. It's like there's lots, like, to it, like how it has gone from the Greek to the Romans to the different
the present day US.
Yeah. There's so many. It's so many.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. So what was your past learning? Right now you were into classical.
Yeah.
So what was your
before that, like, it was like I did my masterclass in this watercolors. Prior to that, I did in architectural visualization. Prior to that, I did in lighting design.
Right.
Like with lighting, I did even with interior design. Yeah, in London.
The natural light or artificial light?
No, this is the artificial lighting. That was in London, and I did my interior design masterclass again in London. And this architectural visualization, I did one in Venice. Yeah, there I was there for quite some time. Then I did in London too. Then I did an online thing with the studio called Brick Visuals. Yeah, they are based in Budapest. Yeah.
Nice.
Like, it's a mix of everything.
Right.
Like, basically what I have done is I try to use it in my practice. Like, let it be visualization, let it be lighting, like interiors, to right now the classicalism.
Right.
So everything is connected to what I do.
So one thing I've observed from your practice as well is that you have an amazing architecture visualization. Not just about visualization, but you know where to perfectly place the lighting in the visualization.
Yeah.
The role of light,
Yes.
the shadows,
Yes.
the depth. Like you feel, you connect to the building rather than just visualization or rendering. So I want to explore the secret of your technique.
Basically,
in
it's
this
like
podcast.
it's a story.
Right.
So I started attending lots of conferences. Yeah, back in 2016 up till COVID. I attended lots of conferences in Italy, in Vienna and London. I kept meeting various people, and all architects. Okay, architects who went into visualization. Through them, I took appointments and went to their studios, just saw how they work, and each and every one gave me some different tips. So visualization, basically, it's like in photography. You're a photographer, but you're using this as a tool. You're rendering things as a tool. But basically, it's your creativity. You're a photographer, and what you're going to capture and what story you're going to tell the end user. In lighting, like it was like, especially the visualization lighting, what I'm talking about, it's all followed from the painters of the past, like Rembrandt and all that, who had used this chiaroscuro, what is light and dark. It's all about contrast and the brightness. So how your eye moves and what the subject is. So that's how you create a story around it. So there's a subject. So you need to focus on the subject. Then around the subject, there are other things. So that would be a little dark. Then there are many other rules, of framing and all that.
Let's get deeper into that.
Yes.
That would be a separate section, architecture visualization.
Yes.
I'll put it as a separate video.
Yes.
Yes. Also, in this podcast, in this series, I would like to have a long conversation with you.
Okay.
And break this content into different parts.
Absolutely.
So one of it would be exploring inside your mind. What is the architecture of your invisible thinking process?
Correct.
And then would be how you are as an architect, like your taste, your opinions, views, experience as an architect, as a separate part, and architecture visualization, and then exploring your portfolio.
Yes.
So let's go on the flow. Yes,
absolutely.
perfect. So let's start this podcast with let's discuss our top 3 inspiring or favorite contemporary recent architectures that you keep in mind. Maybe residential, maybe
like
complex, or
mine or like someone
else's.
Someone else's. See, there are many,
Yeah,
there are many like.
Of course, there are.
Yeah, I love this very tropical set kind of projects.
Okay.
Like especially like the ones where you find in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Definitely
That's the
my
birthplace of tropical
Bawa.
modernism.
Yeah,
right?
tropical modernism. My all-time favorite architect, Jeffrey Bawa.
Jeffrey
Bawa.
Which one of the projects?
Yeah. So in his all his projects, like if you see the resort called Kandalama, okay, it's in near Dambul. I think it's one of my favorite projects called Kandalama. Heritage Kandalama.
So you also like biophilic?
Yeah, like basically, Clinton in this particular project one is like I would say he was the man who I think would started this vertical garden concept and the biophilic architecture, you could say. Secondly, I think this is the project where the infinity pool also started.
Wow.
Okay, which
nice.
Like with the Sigria that the lake there around and all that, and the pool how we matched. Thirdly is like how we plays with light and space. He's a master of that. Like,
what was different here?
This place is in a hillock. Okay, so there is a huge hillock, and so it's carved out of that place. So you can see these big rocks in the corridors,
Wow.
And the building was totally maneuvered around those rocks.
Topology sensitive.
Yes, and it was fantastically done, and the way he has played with the volumes, the corridors, and the emptiness. It's a masterpiece. So, like with this is what which I always like.
Wow, this is amazing.
Now we have projects which we do tropical modernism too.
Right.
So, like these are two different.
Right.
Yeah,
nice
types. Yeah.
So how about combining classicalism and tropical modernism?
See, I would say it's classicalism, as I told you, like how I gave the description, like where people want to get this. But it's the same thing with this Jeffrey Bawa's thing, where he also used these little classical elements, but in a very contemporary way. Yeah. Just give me 1 minute. This client will keep on calling me. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so that's about tropical. Jeffrey Bawa.
Yeah, so like what was I saying? Like
that was the first project. Then 2 more your favorite projects that inspires you, or that you like not only inspire but also like gives you wow, like did that happen in architecture? Like how can they bring that sophisticated detail or functionality into that?
If you look at the futurist like projects, there's a building in London called the Shradd Building, and another building called Gherkins. By
Norman Foster.
Yeah. So these definitely are like some kinds of building which I always like.
What's interesting about this structure?
See, they're more like on the futurist, how they use like steel, glass, and
the scale of the
scale of the building, and especially the Gherkin, like how it was, even the Shradd Building, like Renzo Piano, how it was done, how they use the glass. Again, they play with lots of, but these are like totally different. Totally diverse.
Yeah, but still,
totally
like
diverse.
It showed what's possible in architecture, right?
Yes.
Right. Didn't you visit when you went to London?
All this I visited.
Gherkins you visited?
Gherkins, Shradd, everything I visited.
But like, how did you made it feel? Like from you had seen in the picture.
As an architect, like definitely we like trying to see all the details and how it was, how it's done and everything. But with Jeffrey Bawa's project, it's like there's a soul to it.
You've been there to that resort.
I've been like, I think 4 times there. And because it's always like, soul calling.
So did it
Yeah.
give you inspiration every time, or
No,
did it give you new details every time you visit?
Every time when you go there, you get engaged with that space. There is a feel to that. There is an aura which builds around you. It was my luck. My first visit to that hotel, and I was so engrossed in this Jeffrey Bauer's this tropical modernism. They gave me a room, and they told me, "Sir, this is Bauer's room."
Wow.
I was so happy, that I got the creator's room.
Of that, who started his own style.
Yeah. So it was quite nice. So the other building, which the third building, if I would say, this is when I was just started my practice. Let's see, when you start, like you are so like you're just getting in, and you like this architecture which is totally modern, deconstructivism and all that. So I used to love this architect Frank Gehry those days. And his project, like this Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao.
Right.
Then there's an experience music project. These were the projects which I used to like. So why I liked was like the way it was like so difficult.
Correct.
And
the way you use technology to
Right. The CATIA those days, the software used to use materials and all that.
Amazing.
And especially this, I've got so many books on him, like Frank Gehry. So these were the things which I was getting inspired.
And what also fascinating is that he made it happen within the budget.
Yes.
And also, and something quite new, which wasn't done and tested.
Yes. And in this experience music project, like he used this colored titanium and all that.
As a material.
As a material.
So what does it do?
No, it's a colored material.
Okay.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
As a facade.
Wow. Whereas Bilbao
not
is
only the new form, but also the new
materials and everything. It was amazing.
So what do you learn from Frank Gehry here?
No, again, like these people go with one is the form, and again the space, like because of his form, how the volumes are created and everything. Yeah, that was my initial days where I liked this deconstructivism and all that. Back then in I think 1998 99, I had like two partners, so we started a firm known as Disform Architects. So we wanted to disform everything. So we were so much into deconstructivism. We wanted to do something like that.
So what is deconstructivism?
The deconstructivism is like you're doing a form which you're breaking it up, a planar surface into a.
So you break the symmetry.
You break all these components. That was one era.
It's like a paper folded.
Like how Frank Gehry does. This is all his deconstructivism.
Nice. So I'd like to show you mine. This one, Twist Bridge.
Twist Bridge. Yeah. Big.
I really like how they combine bridge, gallery, and a sculpture movement. Right?
It's like a twisted.
90-degree.
Yeah.
And how they made that happen, that kinetic art.
Exactly.
The building itself is moving, and they're playing with light. It's crazy. And the second thing is this one, Sky Habitats, Safari Architects, like high dense, vertical.
He does like good stuff like this.
Right. And also, it's like what I like about it is like it made human. It's like you cared about every room, that ventilation, light, everything is as if it's a private problem.
Correct.
So usually dense.
If you see right now, there are many buildings. I would say in part of Austria and all that by this CRISPR. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, he is too good. Yeah. So I love his like what he does.
Bamboo, right?
No. He uses wood, and all the materials which is like very sustainable to that place.
Timber,
cross laminate. Lots of lots of that. But CRISPR is like another one good.
Right. You reminded me of that.
Again, like which he has got that very boutique studio kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, is it the one who plays with that column like form with the resort?
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, CRISPR.
Third one is Bosco Vertical. It's in Milan.
But this biophilic, this people who this architects. Suddenly, I'm not getting their name.
Europe based.
Yeah, Europe based. I'm not getting the name. They were the ones who did it back in 2000, I think 2002. They did another museum gallery in Hamburg, Herzog de Meuron.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
check it out.
Yeah, Resort de Miron, like they are building. They were like different, it was really cool. See, all these things have to be time tested, right? When it comes to
Right.
biofilling.
Right.
But whereas in Jeffrey Bauer's, like it has growing on it. How that hillock and this resort is totally blending with nature.
Without abrupt change
Yes,
and
without
noticing
you feel that it's part of that hillock.
extension of the
Yeah,
nature.
yeah. He was very sensitive to all that. I think you should read further on him. Yeah, Jeffrey Bauer. Like, so that's what I like. That's the reason my studio is like this. Like I wanted a studio on the same lines.
Right.
And finally, in 2020, I got this studio, and I'm so happy about it.
Yeah, tell me about your studio.
Yeah.
I mean, you have an amazing space, and shows how much care you have put into it, like every component.
Yes.
And you've chosen, you chose to renovate a space rather than buying a new property, and there you could have expressed your whole freedom, right? Here you had a constraint to respect the previous structure.
Yes.
So why renovate a space for your studio, not like going with the brand or fresh?
First of all, like I wanted a place like this, and I wanted a place with a total like Mangalorean colonial, which
Influence,
had that influence. Right. Yeah. So this place, if you see the before and the after, is two different things. I would not say it didn't have any kind of a colonial. It just was a simple house with the Mangalore tile roof. I added these little part of the restoration or extension. I added the verandas with the little colonnades and made it look like more colonial.
Right.
Yeah, I gave it a feel of a more colonial, of the what do you say, the 80 years, back, that kind of a feel. So I always wanted this kind of a place, and fully influenced by this Jeffrey Bauer's, the tropical modernism. And I've been searching for this place since last 15 years. And I found at least 3 places like this prior to this. Invested, burned my hands, and, gave that space because it was not connecting. But finally I got this place, was like totally in lines with whatever I wanted. We got good vegetation. I think one of the few places in Mangalore where there is, there's a real good green pocket.
That was the center of the city.
Being in the center of the city. And this is a very inspiring place for us, for creatives.
So why chose the green color?
No,
windows?
This is just
your taste.
Yeah, not on the taste. I just thought like that will look good on this
right,
place.
It looks good. So,
but we kept it more simple and basic. Like we use the same red oxide flooring, and we just.
Did you grow up in that space, like similar space? Like Mangalore tile roof and red oxide tiles?
Yes.
That you missed it, like nostalgic, and that's why.
Yeah, you could say that. And these kind of places, they really keep you cool. And we have got a good 12 feet height ceiling space.
Right.
Yeah, and it's really nice. But only these days, right now, what has happened is I've seen from past 5 years, like the temperatures are changing globally, know. And I can make out, how like even being in this kind of a place, we have to use air conditioning. Because like it's really warming up now. Yeah.
Do you think tropical modernism will come back in like style in Mangalore?
No,
it's a need of an hour. I feel
it will. Like, see, in tropical modernism, what happens is like you need to have a good volume plus lots of openings.
Right.
So there should be a flow of air. Cross ventilation is very important. Because of safety reasons, our windows have become smaller and all that. So now you have to make it wider.
You have to compromise security with the...
right. You have to make it wider, give volumes, have low-pitched roofs, so that even the rains are, you should keep away. All those are there.
So how long did it take you to design your own space? Like, for client, yes. So when architects design their own space...
I think this was very quick. Yeah. This we started during the lockdown time. It took me only 3 months to finish the entire thing.
End to end?
End to end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the minute detail that you think you have designed here that people miss noticing? Like I've seen so many details here.
Yeah. I think my garage, which we converted into our,
band
studio. Yeah. So that was an interesting place. Right now we have an additional roof on that.
Right,
But
I saw that.
yeah,
This is to protect the coconut from falling.
no, not from the coconut. Like it was like we used to like have lots of this jam sessions like during the weekends. Yeah. So during the monsoon and all that, we wanted people to sit around and all that. So when the garage was quite raw, and when I converted into the studio, so there was a place. I've got some pictures. I'll show it to you. Like that was a different. The idea was the garage will make it as an outdoor meeting space. Yeah, which finally turned into our band, studio. Yeah.
Nice. So, like, I've seen architects define architecture in their own terms, and they come up with their own definition eventually. I mean, the form of expressing it, like putting in words. So, what is architecture to you right now, and how did you evolve into this?
I get this point, like everyone has their own style. I've seen that many people have their own language and all that. But with me, I think I've not gone into that, like defining my language as such. But people say like they recognize seeing, what buildings I do. Like I don't know how is that, but I do more like a very client specific thing. Yeah, but I try to educate my client. Definitely, they come up, these days, especially in the
age of
Pinterest, I would say. They come up with their references and all that. Sometimes the client only tries to tell, no, I want this. Then we say, listen, this looks good because the building, the context, everything is different. Yeah. So we try to take the context also into picture. We try to educate them, like, what is good for them and what is not good for them. But as a style, absolutely not. Like, I don't have any particular thing. As I told you, like, I do tropical modernism, I do classicalism, I do even, if you want a more futurist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parametric.
Yeah. Parametric, I'm not.
Want to try eventually or something?
Somehow it's not
touching
my soul. Yeah. Yeah. I think this tropical modernism and these things touch my soul a lot, but not the parametric.
Right.
Yeah.
It is too far future. It looks that way.
No,
not.
And you never know what it is. Yeah.
Just a pure.
Yeah. For us,
computational.
For me, it's more of a person's experience in that space. Like what an experience you give to that end user.
So that is your priority.
Yeah, I think that's very important. And I've learned from my seniors, my friends, and all that. I've seen their projects, how, like that experience is given.
So what do you mean by experience?
Like how, like now an end user, when he experiences the space, like even for him, that soul has to connect.
Soul connected.
Soul connected. Yeah. And some silent and the cheeks. I think I better remove my watch. Because it's annoying, no? How is that? I think I switch this off, then it will not. Oh, then it will connect here, no? I'll keep the watch outside.
There is no switch off button for whole Apple ecosystem.
And see, this is 1 minute. It's all stupid here. These calls, all spam calls.
So, what do you mean by experience? When you prioritize experience to the end user?
Basically, one is like how the end user uses the place. Now you give him a nice corridor with some light falling in, and you give him a space like a nook where he can sit and read and all that. And like how he uses it, that experience for him, that is very important. And even for an outsider, like say, like you walk now a resort. Okay, like I'll take an example of Baba's resort. So I was the user, and how I experienced that place. Like it was different, because you feel that there's something, that energy, which catches you, and the kind of light coming in the rock and the volume, the height, the width. So these are like the kind of experiences, like what you give to a place. Yeah, especially when it comes to like a resort, even in a house, like how Some projects you give these courtyards, and suddenly even in the washrooms these days, like people try to bring in, a little outdoor bath. It's all an experience. You bring in the natural light coming in. It's all an experience.
You can't
Yeah.
define it. You can only
Yeah,
feel it.
you feel it.
Mhm.
It's all about feeling. Yes.
Right. So that is the first priority you keep in your mind.
Yeah, we always try to keep that.
Optimize,
Yes.
give the best experience.
Best experience. Yes.
So how do you play with light? You play with
So we play with
volumes.
Yeah, we play with light, volumes, the steam, and definitely the air.
Mhm.
I cannot give him a light volume without the air coming in.
Outside atmosphere.
Yeah, that atmosphere also is very important.
And also the amount of light.
Yes. Yeah, because again, the amount of light has to be spaced out evenly. You need to have the shadow, you need to have the light too, because the shadow is as important as the light.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, it is very important.
Why do you think
Because
so?
that's how it creates that mood in that space, right? Yeah. So always when we did the lighting design and all that, so the shadow has to be equal amount, and it needs to be spaced equally. Like as in, like, now like where are your main tasks, right? So give the light there. The non main task, put shadows there. Yeah, so that the details are hidden, and you don't need those things to be seen. Yeah, so in interiors or architecture, the play of light and shadow is very, very important.
Oh, I never thought about shadow that way.
Yeah.
Like I mean that I've heard about this concept, chiaroscuro,
Yeah.
which is usually used in photography.
Yes.
But like how architects use this intention is
it is very important to understand the shadows is very important.
Nice.
Yeah. Because we always talk about light, no one thinks about the shadows.
Right. So did you come up with this the framework of giving best experience after your visit to Bauer's resort, or like?
Yes, I would say the total architectural experience began once I started traveling a lot. Yeah, I think travel is very important
For
to architects. Yeah, travel, travel, travel. So that has made my this experience and the knowledge grow too. Yeah, and like wherever I go, I try to visit like lots of places, experience new places, new buildings, new urban environments, and everything. Understand like why and for what all these things were done. So I think that has made me understand and connect with different things and try to use them in my like places or the ones which I create. Yeah. So it's not only with one architect's work itself, it's like the experience of travel.
Right.
Yeah. If you see like even our old buildings had all these things, like volumes, it had all this light. Like old, if you see our historic buildings, yeah, see the volume, see the scale,
They understood the climate very well.
Yeah.
And why did it suddenly lost its nature, you think? Like
I think the industrial revolution, the what do you say?
Materials.
No, I think the industrial revolution, and once the modernism came in, everything changed, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are two things right now. People say one is less is more or less is more.
I think they also allow high dense living as well, like in the metropolitan cities.
Yeah, again, it's like I've been trying to understand even that too. Again, this high dense living happens because for you to make it more sustainable, so that you don't use your cars a lot. But again, your city has to be geared with the good infrastructure, like let it be public transport and all that. So that time, all this high density, thing would work. But it is more to make it more sustainable, the city to be made more sustainable, so that people use less of cars, so that there is no pollution happening and all that.
And it's also not just about the building; it's also the place it is.
Place,
right?
yes,
the
absolutely,
landscape,
absolutely,
infrastructure.
yes. So that people just walk and use their places, right? Like now you want to go to a restaurant, just get down, just go to a restaurant.
Metro.
Yeah, take a metro, just go a little and come. So the sustainable living is right now the most important thing. Yeah, it's all about like sustainability. Yeah. So there are lots of urban things which are happening, like, on the urban scene, is like how to make these sustainable cities. Yeah. So Sir Norman Foster, like he has, what do you say, like it's like a school again which he has in Spain, Madrid, where it's on the Norman Foster Foundation. There they like teach on the sustainable cities, and they're more into all that. Yeah, urban design, where they teach the students like how to make new good cities. So new practices for the new cities, because which is very important, I
Right.
think, in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
So, as an architect, how do you think like an ideal Mangalore city is like?
Right now, I think we are going in a very haphazard development.
Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, so
Like what we are doing wrong and
it's difficult to pinpoint
right.
here.
But the general pattern.
But in a general pattern, I feel like we are going in a very haphazard development where, like, when you have this urban fabric, even your streets should look good. Like, there's a beauty to the street with the new buildings, because we don't have some codes which define them, right? So you see, like, there are like all ground plus one houses, and suddenly a skyscraper there. That doesn't define our character, right? So these are the kinds of developments which is happening in Mangalore in a very haphazard way. So like I cannot call it as a very good urban fabric. Yeah.
So what would be a good urban fabric?
No, it's like that has to be done.
No, it has to be thought deeper.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
what
there
would
are these urban designers who really give a code, like saying how the streets, and how there are plazas to squares to even like certain places, like they'll do only a low rise development. Okay, some pockets they'll have the high rise development, can happen. Then your city is a very balanced city. It's not like everywhere you have a sudden the high rise. Even if the road width doesn't allow, like you have an high rise building. Yeah.
So is there any place like that here? Like
there's so many places.
So many, right?
There's so many places in Mangalore. There's so many places.
So there's a proper building code.
Yeah, because our building code itself is not.
Right.
Yeah.
So you feel, I mean, even I feel we should embrace more of tropical modernism.
No, that is
structure.
Yeah, that is
the residential
like that is each person's take.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't enforce.
Because there are like few people, they don't want that. Yeah. So we cannot enforce any set things. But as the architects, I think we need to make more beautiful cities. Yeah, that's very important. Yeah.
So to beautify Mangalore,
see,
so
and
what
this can happen only like once you travel, you've seen places, and you've come. You understand, and meeting people. Meeting lots of these urban designers and everything. Only then you will know, like where we stand, where we lack, and all that.
So where do we lack?
There's so much.
Yeah, top three.
Yeah. I cannot tell that.
Transportation.
Yeah, definitely. Our public transportation is one, and we have there are lots of things like public transportation to like our building codes, like how like
there's irregularities.
Yeah, because there is no structure. Yeah. So it's like really difficult to right now to make Mangalore a beautiful city.
Right.
God knows from another 20, 30 years what would happen to this place.
Let's see. Let's work on. Okay.
Because another third thing which I would say, our roads. Okay. I'm not talking about the quality of the roads and all that. The road widths. So we are seeing right now this development happening in so much. I would say in another 5 years, like there are certain roads in Mangalore cannot take the vehicular traffic. It's going
noticed a lot.
It's going to be really heavy.
In certain amount of cars
coming out
a lot.
because of the proportionate buildings which is happening on that road. So in 5 years, like there are certain roads in Mangalore, it's going to be a choco-block.
Yeah, I mean, in places where there were no traffic jams, you see a massive traffic jam.
So this is what all,
Right. Now I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, it's all about. Yeah. it's a different debate
Right.
as such.
It
Yes.
is a different debate, but
Yes.
yeah. But yeah, nice that you pointed out that. So, is there a design idea or philosophy you once believed in but abandoned since and never tested again?
Yeah, deconstructivism.
Why did you get into that? Like,
No, it was like
influence of
not
Frank Gehry?
influence of Frank Gehry, and we were young and just
Yeah.
come out of college and want to experiment. We thought like this could be a good experimentation. No, it doesn't work.
Did you have any project done or just a
No,
concept?
we did one project where we failed so miserably with that project. We saw all kinds of leakages and all, and never again.
Not functional.
Yeah. It becomes only too form based and not a functional thing.
Right. Do you have any design philosophy or that you prioritize, like design principles?
See, definitely. I think your function is very important, principally. Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yes. Yeah. So when the function is right, definitely the form would follow it.
Right. What do you mean by function? Like
Function
how
is
do you elaborate?
Yeah. Now, especially now, let's take a hypothetical project. Okay, like a resort. Okay, now the resort has got lots of functions, right? Now you have to have the suite, your rooms, your banquet halls, to restaurants, to your receptions, to pool, to everything. So now all these things have to be put in a proper order, right, for a resort to function. And how each rooms are located, what kind of a view you give, because it's all about the guest. And say now it's a beach resort. So in what does a beach resort speak? You have to give like the guest the best beach view, right? They need to see the beach. So like first we have to do all the zonings right, like getting each space. Now from the room to the restaurant, the proximity. And again, I was talking about experience. Okay, now when he walks to the restaurant, the kind of experience you give is very important. So it's all about that. So how then you link all these things together, like as a function, and kind of giving an experience, then it will come into a form. Then what kind of a form you want, like whether you want like a tropical modernism, depending on the place. Some people want very classical, some people want really a palatial kind of a look, some people want very minimalist resort or a very boutique. So it's all about that. But first all these things have to be met.
So function, you mean the intention? Like,
Absolutely.
I thought like not leaking.
No. Those comes in the details.
Okay.
Those comes in the details.
Of the building.
The functionality. How now
the main purpose of the building is the functionality.
That's very important.
So from there, form evolves on its own.
It evolves on its own. So form follows the function.
That's the principle you follow.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So when you think of a building, you don't go with, okay, I want the building of this structure.
Like there are people like sometimes they would go with the other way around.
Like function
follows the form. It can happen sometimes even that way. You have a weird idea and try to put the function around it.
There shouldn't be much constraint in that.
Yes. But again, it's a very catchy thing how you would put that function around that form.
Have you tried it the other way?
No, I think I'm more of a form following the function. No, function following the form.
Function, okay.
Yes, that's it. Function following the form.
No, you said
form. No, I am more of who follows function. Like, when the form follows function.
Yeah, you're into form follows function.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rather than the
function follows
the form.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your principle that you follow.
Yeah, it's in major cases it has been the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything apart from that, like less, do you follow less is more rigorously, or what's your view on
like on that minimalism? Like for me, it's never been like that. But there are projects where we did very minimalism because for that project it made sense because even the client's requirement was that and all that, so it made sense. So for me, it's nothing like I have a tight kind of a set rule, like I'll do this minimalist or maximalist. There's nothing like that. So
it's a client need.
It's a need. It's a need, and I have come across like many clients. Oh, I want minimalist stuff. So I asked them, "What is your idea of minimalism, because your idea of minimalism and mine idea of minimalism, two different things.
Right.
Yeah. Then they show me this is I said, this is not minimalism. This is not minimalism. Okay. Then
So what they were showing?
Yeah, no, they show like, it's all having the maximalist things,
Right.
but not the,
So they have minimal color palette, is it?
Yeah, probably for them that was minimalist. Yeah, minimalism is, the Zen kind of a thing,
Right.
where the more of that, the Japanese and,
Right.
yeah. So in one room, you just have one painting and one chair kept.
Right. Not even paintings.
Yeah.
So any other principles that
Definitely, because
that has helped you a lot, right?
Yeah,
That
no.
is there in your...
See, right now, like what happens is sometimes I come across these projects like classical projects and all that. So in classical projects, we follow this simple rule like a symmetry. Symmetry, there is rhythm and all that. Then we break that into pieces, like we get the harmony and
Right.
all that.
Yeah. This one I want to explore.
Yes.
Harmony.
Yes.
Like
So harmony is like total.
How do you establish an harmony?
Harmony is like total collective thing of the building. No, it should be in harmony with your
All the
proportions, all the components.
Like how do you get that? Like,
It's
felt
practice.
You can't define it. You can just only...
It's like,
based on intuition or something?
Yeah, and it's like by practice. See, in classical, like especially when you have not only in classical, even in other things, say harmony with your material palette, harmony with textures, harmony with solids and voids. You can get all this thing done. So like in a classical, like it's quite simple and straight, where you have the symmetry with the rhythm, and everything falls in harmony. Then it becomes very easier. Whereas in when it comes to a contemporary building and all that, and when you have like what do you say? As I told you, when you have the function and when the form evolves, like that's a trick how you play with the harmony. Then how you balance it. First you have to balance the building, the weights and everything. Then your texture balance, your color balance. Then then the cohesive, like total building will be
holistic harmony.
Holistic harmony.
Wow. How do you get visual harmony? Like okay, this is. Is there a case where you design a space? I mean, like amateur architects, like beginners, design that you pinpoint. Okay, it's not. There is no harmony.
No, we get like it happens.
Okay.
Like when I go as a like what do you say, as a guest lecturer, or when I go as an invigilator to this colleges of architecture. All this I get to see, the time I tell the students like how they need to get the harmony, the rhythm, how they need to play with all these things. This is by experience you get it.
Right. So harmony is more of an intuition.
You will get to know. Like for me, it's like more of an intuition right now, because when I see a place, I couldn't
define harmony. Like even
as I told you, like the harmony comes even with colors, right? Like it has to be harmonious with that place. Even when you keep a painting or even a couch there, even the light has to be harmony with that place. Again, when I told you about the shadows and everything, even that has to be in harmony. So it's all about that.
Harmony is nothing but naturalness.
It
nothing
which binds the place. I would say it binds the place together.
Nice. So form follows function. Back to you play with the harmony,
symmetry, rhythm, texture.
So what is rhythm in architecture?
Like solid voids. So rhythm is the repetitive things, right? It goes in rhythm.
So what do you repeat? Like just light or columns?
No, the windows could be repetitive sometimes. There are so many textures could be repetitive. So it's like there's a rhythm to that. It's like a music, So like Frank Lloyd Wright said, architecture is like a frozen music.
Right. Frozen in space and time. Yes. And then next, any other principles that you play with?
That's what I told you. The solid voids is another important.
Solid voids.
Solid and voids.
Okay.
So like what happens is even when you design the form, so like again there should be a solid component and there's a void component to it. So then that balance is achieved. Same holds good even to your interiors. Same principles. All these principles holds good.
How difficult is balancing aesthetic, functionality, and the practicality of everyday living.
Oh yes, it's a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a challenge. It is a
And
challenge.
what do you prioritize first, and then
See, as I told you, functionality is very important because that user has to get all
Purpose
his
of the
purpose
building,
of the
yeah.
building. Okay. Aesthetic also plays because you need to make a beautiful city too, along with it, right? So aesthetic plays a big role. Beautiful building which stays for say for a longer period of time. If you see right now, I think in 30 years most of the buildings have been recycled or it's gone.
There's no timelessness.
Yeah, there's no timelessness. If you see the old buildings, they had real timelessness. Yeah, people didn't want it to destroy. That's what I'm coming back again to, that classicalism, where which is that uprising in Europe, which is happening because of these things. Because there were timeless buildings, and now you see the non-timeless buildings, which are again going for redevelopment.
Which is not sustainable.
Yeah.
Which they claim to be sustainable.
Yeah, which is
again
exactly. So it's all about that. So the challenges are of all these things,
and also
especially-
practicality of everyday
so,
living, right?
So yeah, it's the functional, it's aesthetics. Definitely, we need to make a building which will look good and which stays for for its time, make it timelessness. Practicality, definitely, especially in Mangalore and all that, where we have heavy rainfall and taking care of especially for us, it's like taking care of the rains is the biggest challenge. Yeah, because summers definitely you can get away with, but not the rain.
And it's only increasing.
It's only increasing, and the leakages to all those, we have to be really sure, that time where our like expertise in the detailing technical thing in architecture comes into practice. Yeah, where you understand, you need to know. I'll not say that all buildings are foolproof. Sometimes it happens suddenly you get a leak without knowing. And water is one element, it just needs one tiny hole somewhere, and it just flows.
So balancing
is definitely I would say for the young architects to just protect your buildings from this rain and sun, because the weather is right now it's becoming so volatile and it's becoming more aggressive, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would then think functionality, practicality, then aesthetic.
Yes.
Like sometimes if you follow aesthetic, it would contradict the practicality.
But it's not that itself. Right now what's happening, Clinton, is because of this Pinterest world.
Right. Pinterest, Instagram.
World, even if we suggest a client a practical building, say now, I said I want and I love this tropical modernism. And tropical modernism speaks of large overhangs, slope roof, again with large openings and all that. But this people come with the glossy images of Pinterest, and we try to educate, but sometimes you fail. They don't listen to those ideas because they don't understand. But recently we cracked one project, it took some time, and this client had a vision, he was keeping on sending us all his thoughts, YouTube videos and everything, and we came up with the building. Again, it was more of a boxed contemporary building, which was not going in our lines. Then I made a sketch. So he almost finalized. I think it was 99% he finalized on that building. That looks. And I had made a sketch of a very tropical modernist building. And I showed him, last, how about this? He said, looking at the sketch, looks good, but show me a visual of that. Okay, after a week we showed a visual of that. And finally zeroed down on the tropical modern building, which we are happy now. Because it can solve so many issues.
Right.
But we gave him also a context we sold that building on a context level also. Like we told him that your house is coming up in a place where once upon a time there were like these kind of buildings. But right now we are doing it in a more modern way. Okay. So we told him that, you can be one of the guys who can be educative to other people around, saying that, let's build buildings like this so that,
You become the
then you
inspiration,
sustain,
right?
yeah, you become an inspiration for people. I think probably got sold on
Nice.
that idea too.
So, where do you educate? Like, I mean, I see you educate. You push your clients to think, and push your client in changing their views, opinions.
But I would say it's not every time, because these days this client they try to educate us.
Right.
We try to educate them, but they also try to educate us, because
Right.
it's like it's become like
Half
this.
wisdom
One of
from
my
the social medias.
friend doctors told me, like, the client, his patient comes and tells him like whether I can take this medicine, where I am supposed to tell him what medicine he needs.
Right.
So it's gone. This age is like that.
Right.
Yeah, this age has become like that. Where you have got access
Everybody's
to.
an expert.
Yeah, because the knowledge is
Abundant.
in front of you.
Right.
When the knowledge is in front of you. See, earlier, Clinton, when I started my career, those days it was we had to do all hand-drawn. There's no computers.
Yeah.
Everything was hand-drawn.
The huge chart paper, the tiny
Yeah.
details.
Everything was
Sleep
hand-drawn.
over it to
Yeah,
make
hand-drawn
it, right?
sketches, everything. Even to show a client his house, we had to only sketch and show. That's it. And our hand rendering, like with pencil, markers and that. And we used to we used to sell our
Right.
building, our ideas like that. Right now, with this computer thing, they want thousands of options. See, that time, like how, your word was final. Right now, it's not like that. Yeah.
You have to win over an argument.
Yeah.
To
Exactly.
also push as an architect as
Yeah,
well.
because since the knowledge is available, so you get all types of clients.
Right.
Yeah,
So, what
all
are the
type of clients.
most top 5? This is for the consumer, like client side. Top 5 most commonly misconception or things that you educate your client on. Like, this is not like this. This is this. Like,
Yeah,
they
because
come
see,
up
now
with-
the client comes with their ideas.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, these ideas could suit a building somewhere in a cold country and all that. Okay, which.
Right. So they come up with the European architectural
Yes.
style
So that time,
and
like, we
interior.
have to tell them. But even then, they insist, then you have to do it.
Right.
Because I had a case like that where the client told, if you are not doing, I'll go to someone else. And then I had to do it. It's like
Right.
then you have to feed your,
Right.
your support system. So,
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
but-
one. So they come up
but
with the different
again,
climatic.
when it comes to that kind of buildings, we try to see that it becomes friendly with our environment. Yeah. We somehow try and do that, we meet some criteria of,
Right.
where we can. Yeah.
So there's another constraint, handling client expectation.
Yes.
Which
Absolutely.
is the second most, one is climatic,
Climatic, I think, is the main
biggest one.
biggest challenge, and where people come with different ideas. Second is like educating the client is like taking quality contractors. Yeah. Because
who play with materials. And
no
stuff.
contractors, as in giving a construction to a good quality guy. Because people have sometimes they have their own relatives as thing, or their friends or like that. So I think that time clients should definitely respect the architect's experience too in understanding the contractors.
Correct.
Yeah, because I think finally
You guys have to communicate
to the contractors, and the contractor plays a big role. A good quality contractor. Yeah, to have a good seamless, what do you say, building detail. Yes. That is very important. Then.
So is there any happened in your career where
Yeah. We have gone through.
made a
Yes.
big mistake
We have gone through all those things, where we suggest few contractors. The client has gone with someone. He messed up. He stopped work. All these things happen. It's part of the game. in interior, sometimes we get people like there's a big room and their room is only 12 by 14 and they're giving us an example of a 20 by 16 room with all the furnitures and everything kept. You get my
You
point.
have to make them realize the dimensions.
Yes.
Right?
The time we say this is good because it is in that big space. When it comes to your space, you cannot get that because still they'll be in that visual world, Oh, like, imagining that this is my space.
And how about Vastu?
I think that point, how did I miss it? That's a major thing. Yeah, it's a major thing. Like everyone comes with a Vastu thing. Everyone. Okay, we don't deny on that. We follow, definitely when we do a plan, we follow all those principles so that, everything is, for them, it's in harmony. And, but sometimes it goes beyond because
Metaphysical.
No, it goes in a different level, It goes
Like, what is the most craziest?
No,
level
craziest,
it has
we
gone?
just had a project and it was going very crazy, like, which we have not come across in my this career. I have not come across that kind of
Okay.
because each person, like what happens is they finish, the client itself sometimes is like hesitant whether like to trust this Vastu guy or I'll bring another guy. So, they bring second opinions, then, third opinions. Everything becomes a mess.
Horoscopy and
There are so much, yeah. Like there are so much. We have gone through lots of experience
it
through that.
really messes architects' mind when horoscope come into their practice.
Right now, you just cannot bypass that.
Right.
Yeah, it's become a part and
It's
parcel.
an added constraint.
Yes,
in
it's
the
an
Indian
added.
context.
It's just cut the architect's feathers.
No, I know an architect who had a brilliant design. When she practices in tropical modernism, so I heard she had come up with the butterfly-shaped roof design, and it was a beautiful design. I had a look into it. And then the next day, client comes getting the opinion from the Vastu guy, and Vastu guy suggested him revert the design. Otherwise, you will die next Thursday.
No.
Something
This
like
is
that.
no.
Like,
That's
some
what. No,
bad
like
thing.
when it comes to all these things, like I really don't agree on this part. We have experienced all these things with different clients, like. So this is one topic which right now I don't. It doesn't
Entertain.
Yeah, much.
What aspect of Vastu is practical? Okay, this
No,
is
see, it's basically it goes more on the climatological thing itself, and even they are more concerned about the wind, air,
right.
direction of light and all that. And why, if you ask me, like why a south, a southern, like you have this main idea is like you have the north, okay, in the south, the west and the east, right? So like especially in our tropics, like in Mangalore and Kerala and everything, the direction of the wind is from this and this, okay, west, southwest. Then you have this secondary wind which comes in the night through northeast, okay. And why like the south? So the sun rises here and goes through this path, the southern direction. So this is the most hottest direction of the any place. So as per Vastu, this has to be totally blocked. So that, like, when you, like technically, I would say, when you have a door or something like that, the sun is hitting you. Right? So it's always good to have your doors or whatever in these zones, like north and all that. So you have a diffuse light. So which is now like, I'm talking about climatic sense and Vastu. So like Vastu, like they don't encourage any southern openings and all that because of this reason. Yeah. Again, it's like to do with climatic.
So it's
That's
not
how it is.
every time. I mean, every time does it holds good or something? Like
case to case.
Okay,
Yeah. In case to case, because sometimes we'll be having some south openings and all that, but then how you treat the south opening and all that is very important.
So Vastu at one point was a democratized architectural planning.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, do you think it has gone out of hand?
No, it has gone out of hand.
It has gone out of hand,
Yes,
right?
it's gone out of hand.
Like, what are the main things where do you think it has gone out of hand?
No, right now it has gone out of hand where so many things are involved. Yeah, so many
Like-
things. There are many things.
Yeah.
It's another topic itself to talk.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
There are
it's
many
quite
things.
sensitive as
It's
well.
quite sensitive, and there are so many things involved in it.
Right,
Yes.
right. Okay, let's get back. Okay, I wanted to ask, just like the balance between aesthetic and practicality, how do you balance sustainability, but also not compromising on the style?
Yeah. Now that's another topic by itself. Sustainable
Right.
architecture.
But how do you approach
Yeah,
sustainability
but
and this balance?
I would say as of now, I've not exactly gone deep into the sustainable aspect of the architect. Definitely, like, because the kind of projects we do are all
Right.
a different scale.
Scales.
Yeah, and we try to use like different materials and all that, which I can say is not sustainable
Right.
because we procure it from different places. Yeah, if I talk about more sustainable design, then it has to be more of locally available,
Right.
resources and all that. Yeah, but we are doing some projects like that, which are like, it's an old house, which again we are refurbishing it. Yeah, that was more on the sustainable thing. But again, this is a vast topic, and right now,
And the client has to come
also
up
has
with
to
the
come up with
direction.
the direction.
Otherwise,
Yes. Yeah, but this particular house, what we are doing is even the client is in tune with the sustainable thing. So we are also doing that. Yes.
if someone with no architectural training wanted to see a building the way you do, what elements would you tell them to notice first?
I think basically it would be the space, how we can feel the space.
Feel the space in the sense, what
more
comes
than
to
the
your mind when you're in the building?
more than the aesthetics, he has to go and experience that place.
So it's not just looking over
At
the
the
Pinterest. or
Pinterest.
You have to
they have to get in the space. That they have to experience the place. They have to like walk in nook and corners of the place.
So what do they miss in watching in 2D screen and experiencing in the
Because see, in 2D is always like you just looking at the facade, and even you cannot experience the volume. What I'm talking about, the texture, everything is a feeling, right? Yeah. Now, whatever materials we put, even when you walk barefoot in the floor, a marble has a different experience than a micro concrete. And again, when I use like doing the landscape, again you go with the barefoot. Okay, so the texture of the granite, what we use, is a different feel. Again, when you touch the lawn, is a different feel. So it's always better to go and have a feel of the place than seeing the photographs. But yeah, these days people don't have time and all that, so they say, tell us like send your portfolios. We want to see your portfolio and all that. But more than portfolio seeing, I would say like client has to come see a place is always better.
Do you take them out somewhere?
Yes.
And make them feel the space?
Yeah, there are some clients who are very specific. They would want to come to our studio, see our studio, meet the team, and see few of our projects, feel it. Yeah. Then
so this studio was intentional. You wanted your clients to experience this space. And,
yes. So like there are few clients whom I got to do this tropical modernism just because of my studio. Yes.
Nice.
Because they got inspired by the the energy and the kind of the studio what I have.
Is there any clients here who come up with the experience they need rather than the Pinterest design they show? Like, do they come and tell you like, I want a space where I feel very secure, or I want a space where I feel very comfortable?
Yes.
That's it. They don't give you other constraints.
No,
they give you
there are clients.
Yeah,
absolutely, there are clients.
Nice.
Yes, there are clients.
So what do people prioritize most here?
Most of the clients come with their total proper brief. Yeah.
Like how do they look like?
Yeah. No, like they come with a proper brief, like what kind of a house they want. Like most of them like with the tropical modernism, they come. Some come with the classical intent. Yeah, but they come with a brief and they say like one guy says I want a real tropical looking house. Yeah, and one person said I want a palatial kind of a house. It has to have that timelessness, more classical in nature and all that. They come with this defined brief, so no Pinterest here, nothing. Yeah, so we have to meet their brief. That's it. Then there are clients who come with the Pinterest. So then it becomes a challenge.
Right.
Then it becomes a real challenge.
So how do you define a perfect home? And do you think it varies across culture and time? And how do you describe a perfect home? Rather than having a good design, like how does a house feel into a home?
Yeah, it should be, for me, it's like, it should be a home. It's not a house.
Like what translates house into
it's
a
like there should be a soul to that place. Yeah, that soul. And how you get that soul? It's like by creating those spaces. The house needs a soul, and you need to do that by creating those spaces. And how do you create those spaces? By getting all these things into factor: your light, your air, your colors, your texture, the play of shadow, and all that. So when you bring all this together, the house will have its own soul. Yeah, then it becomes a home. Yeah.
How intricate is this space? Like when you say space,
Yeah, see,
space, 3 dimensions.
yeah, it's
so
like
how
this.
intricate is
So it
this
becomes quite challenging because sometimes you get a small site, like a 60-40 site, and sometimes you get an acre.
Both a challenge of its own.
Yeah. So when it becomes a 60-40 site, the challenge of giving that a larger experience becomes really a challenge, because everything is connected in that small little thing. So there also, like you need to know like how you need to bring those little lights, how you create those little courts within that small place, because we are doing some small cases like that where you try to get in those lights, where have those little bit of energy coming into the building and all that. In a larger space, yeah, you've got more flexible, like you can create like more spaces like these. Yeah. So the smaller things are very challenging.
Right.
Yeah.
So how one space interacts with other space,
Others,
the passage.
yes, how it relates and all that.
So is there the only complexity of this space?
Yeah, it's always
Dimension, connectivity. And
connectivities.
what else?
Yeah, it's all about that. How, as I told you, openings, bringing light, bringing air, and giving a vista. Now, when you create these spaces, like now the house will be around different. There is a context, right?
Right.
Like you have a road, then you have the neighbors, and probably you may have a nice view. So which room will get the best view also is very important. And especially when it comes to a house, like, and especially in a very urban fabric, where like there are lots of, houses around and all that. So it's a challenge again.
Which space to prioritize to get the best view?
Some spaces you need privacy. So that also needs to be taken care. Yeah, because how do you bring that privacy in through the built environment itself? How you try to create those privacies? Yeah, all that is it's all quite challenge. It's like you're playing with the jigsaw puzzle.
Nice, yeah. Creating variation until there is.
Yes, that's what we say. These iterations are.
There are many different possibilities. So you compute.
It's all permutation, combination. Yeah.
Yeah, what are the fundamental factors you consider when designing a residential space, and how do they influence the design? One, as you said, light, space, and neighboring, Vastu,
yes,
neighbors, climate. Anything is missing in this equation that even if it's minor.
Thing is zoning rules.
Zoning,
the rules,
Okay.
So whenever you design any kind of a building, there is a set rules to be followed
of that municipality,
of that particular municipality. So there is like for a 6 meter or 9 meter or 12 meter or 24 meter road, there's certain rules how the setbacks, depending on the width of the site, depth of the site, and all that. So that is a main constraint. Then you have to work within that constraint.
First primary constraint.
Primary constraint. Then you work within that. Yeah, then you work within those parameters.
Okay, first client considers client budget. Then
that's I would say, another thing, it was your previous question. We are educating clients on the budgeting factors because things have gone way above the roof. The cost material cost, labor cost, and everything. So it's not like people can come with few lakhs and they're saying that we can have a house. It's becoming really difficult.
Right. The inflation is real.
Yes.
They only will feel when they're constructing their own house.
If you want to have a quality and really like a nice finished house, it's really quite challenging right now.
Okay, so let's understand it in practical terms. So, what would
Because
2000 and
the only
2025?
thing here is like my client
Yeah,
still
no,
is
no.
different.
Let's compare the
Yeah.
cost. 2000 and 2025.
Yes.
So, what would it take
I'll
to
tell you,
build a 10 lakh house?
no, it's a simple equation like this. Let's go the other way around. Okay. In 2000, an apartment in Mangalore was costing around 852,000 rupees
per square feet.
per square foot. Whereas right
8,000?
850,
850. Okay.
2,000 rupees.
Okay.
Okay. Whereas right now it is costing around 7,000 to 12,000 rupees.
Square feet.
It's a
It's
simple
a
thing.
10x.
Yes, it's a simple thing.
The 10x. So, one 10 lakh home and 2000 would cost 1 crore to build in 2025. Do they always have the unrealistic expectations? Like,
Yeah. What's happening, this is one thing where people mislead many clients and, many people. They don't give them the final not exact figure. They don't tell them the reality. Okay. They give them in fine prints. Even yesterday I had one client, I told him, see, I'm going to tell you the real stuff. You have to be ready for that real stuff. I'm not going to tell you anything in fine prints. People come and say, like, we can do a house in 1,600 rupees. Yeah, I said, 1,600 rupees. But then there is X coming into that. So when you finish your house, it will be 4,000, 4,500, 5,000. But they don't want to take that as a,
reality.
reality.
They want to. And is it the most difficult part
It's the most difficult
to convince
part.
the numbers?
Yes.
And what is the
Especially
responsibility?
when a client comes with a budget. So like we have like the combination of clients. Okay, so like some clients are like no budget kind of a thing. No, because these are big projects, and some like small houses where there is a budget problem. But these are the challenges where you need to understand, when you have these budget issues. That time you have to be really specific with these clients by telling, like how the cost is. Yeah. Because that's what I said, people don't tell the X, which is going to add. You have to be really honest with them
So
and
you
tell them
give
like,
every expenditure.
no, I tell them like, this is only the cost of your construction. That is only your skeleton. But everything else needs to be there, right?
That calculation is very hard to come by, right?
No,
the
everything depends on the finish, no?
Right.
See, you can have a aluminum window for 300 rupees. You can have an aluminum window for 3,000 rupees. So you can have your floor again for $100. You can have your floor for $5,000. So finishes is what matters.
And how frequent is an architect exceeding the budgeted budget?
Most of the time.
Right, that's the big
Most
problem.
of the time,
right?
Most of the time. Most of the time.
So how you are performing in this? Like,
No, most of the time we.
you also
exceed. We exceed the budgets because what happens is like we tell the client like, okay, the construction cost we are almost there. Most of the time, it's like we don't exceed in the construction cost because of the civil thing you can analyze and you can get. When it comes to finishes, then you.
Which details in particular?
Like the floor.
Floors.
Now the client says, once in a while I'm building a house. Only one house I'll build. Let me go for a good floor. But he had not put in this budget. He had 100 rupees.
Right.
And right now he wants a 300 rupees. So then the budget shoots up.
And German cabins and kitchen.
Yeah. It's all like that. So it's always, these are the things, finishes, things go out.
It's on the client's part, not on the architect's mistake.
Yeah. But as I told you, it's always good to tell them like, okay, your final output is this. You need to, we don't have to fear like.
Doesn't exposing them to a lot of options.
No, because sometimes what happens is many of them fear that if I tell them the final figure right now itself, he will not come back to you. He may find another guy. I think we should educate them by saying that this is it.
Yeah, there's another good design principle. Good design is honest.
Yes.
Okay, we were talking about the factors. Got lost here. Yeah. The zoning constraint,
Yeah.
budget,
Budget.
the constraint,
Yes.
like not exceeding the budget and
Yes.
doing within the budget is another constraint.
Mhm.
So then you have to play with materials, light,
Yes.
and shadows, and
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Then all your architectural principles.
Yeah.
Then you
And
come
other
into the
constraint where we see
yeah
how Vastu is
yeah.
again.
Then you come into the technical things. Technical. Sometimes the land. Okay. If
Topology, is it?
one is the topography of the land. Sometimes it could be like very steep.
Ah,
Okay. Sometimes you'll have some marshy land. So that is another challenge. Yeah. So again, your cost varies based on these two. So when you have more marshy land and all that, where the soil
that
is
people
very loose.
Architects usually miss taking that into consideration.
No,
when
nothing
they're
like
costing.
that. No. Yeah, but the client doesn't understand. No,
right.
he has not considered it because for him, like everything is same, right? Because he doesn't know it.
So where is the most challenging topography you have constructed or built an environment in?
No, it's all the slopey sites. No, yeah.
So have you done a slopey slide architect?
We have done. We have done. Yeah, we have done.
Later we'll look into
Yeah,
it.
we have done, and we are doing also some developments in a slopey thing. But these are all challenges. So
Have you done anything on sort of Baba's type of style in the slopey area? Like
no,
it? Not yet.
No, not yet.
You will do it in the
Yeah, in future.
Okay, so next, constraint, that's it, right? Anything else you think is missing in the equation of
No, I think
that
this
challenges
mainly is the
architects?
land. Sometimes even the neighbors become a constraint.
Right.
Yes,
People constraint.
People constraint. Another constraint, as I told you, contractors. Selecting a good contractor.
Labor constraint.
Yeah, all that. Again, the time. Time is a big constraint.
Okay.
Some people want their building in 6 months, 12 months. There were days for the same building, it used to go up to 2 years.
Right.
But right now, the same thing people want in 12 months.
Instant gratification.
Yeah.
Is like
Yeah. So it's
Zepto,
become like that. That's a major constraint right now. Fast. Yeah. Another big constraint.
Why do you think
Another big
that is
constraint. Another big constraint. What we have is again the speed of work. See, earlier, we used to have clients when people used to give time for design.
right?
Design needs time.
Yeah, I mean, design and then build.
Yeah, there is
60% design,
next.
then 40% build.
People don't even give time. They just want it
Executed right away.
No, they wanted it yesterday. Our plans, not today. They wanted those plans yesterday. It's become like that. People don't give time, and I think it's very important to give time. Only then you are exactly getting the creative juices out of those architects.
Maybe on the process, something may turn out great,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
In the time.
You need to have time. Give them time. They'll come up with a better solution to your project.
So it is very often, is it, the time problem?
Yeah, it has been right now. It's quite
Impatience in people.
But there are clients who
quite
give you
frequent.
time. There are clients. I'm not saying across, but there are clients who give you time, and there are clients who don't give you time. You have to,
So that is also, again, you have to educate.
Educate, but sometimes you cannot.
So they don't want the best solution. They want the space.
They want
straight
speed,
away.
speed. It's all speed. And all this I've seen, once the IT thing boom has happened, I saw the speed coming into play. Yeah,
Delivery time.
Yeah, delivery times and
one day delivery, 2 day delivery.
Yeah, it's become like that. When that
And
has
even
come
for
into
the
picture.
episode, you can binge watch. You need not, wait for the next
Yeah.
day.
With that, you lose quality, you lose so many things. Yes.
Good things
For
take
good
time.
things really takes time.
Any other constraint?
Yeah, finance we have seen.
Finance.
Yeah.
Material. How about material?
Yeah, that's a new thing now. The sand.
Sand. Right.
Again, it has stopped.
How scarce as it has become in
right
Mangalore?
now it stopped again.
Okay.
The sand mining is stopped again, and I think there's no supply. And there are many projects they are suffering because of that.
So how do buildings, construction would rely on?
M-sand right now. We're using that, the granite, this powder.
Powdered?
Yes, powder.
Powdered gel, is it?
Yes. Yeah, M-sand.
It's called M-sand.
Yeah.
And what's the difference between the real sand and M-sand?
Oh, no, there's a big difference. This is a powder, right, off from the course. So people are using, because that's the only substitute. In Kerala, it's been used widely. right now.
How are the buildings turned out in the stability wise?
So we have done one building only with the M sand and P sand.
Okay.
Where P is used for plastering,
Okay.
and M sand was used for your this one construction. And this client has a quarry, so he has got a lot of this M sand and P sand. So that building, as of now, we don't have any issues.
What's challenging with working with that?
Working in that, this is absolutely no challenge. Yeah, but people still prefer the sand.
So what do you think about that issue? Like it's a big, very sensitive issue.
It's a sensitive issue. Mining, definitely, like everyone is against mining, definitely because of our, the rivers and everything. Yeah, but I think we should use the alternate materials. Yeah, definitely.
How do you design for emotions?
Yeah, see, now there are certain projects where like you go like with total emotions, could be like, which project we have encountered?
Like client comes up with emotion, is it? Like I want this emotional feel when I enter the building.
Yes. We have come across some projects like that, where like, we needed that kind of an emotional sense to it. Yeah.
And how do you make that happen? Like, what factors?
The factors are the same. Yeah, factors are the same.
If there's a space, and if you were to bring out the emotion of joy, just playing with the light,
openness, bring nature. Bring nature into that openness. See, now it's like this, right? Like when you have this nice light, filtered light coming in. Okay, you have an openness and you have the nature and you just see some butterflies, flying around that.
So that joyous space.
Yeah, joy of space. You just get connected to that place. Yeah.
And how about secure space?
Like totally a confined space.
And how about what?
Yeah. See, now in a confined space, it's quite challenging actually. If you see, you're in a box.
Right.
You don't know like what kind of an emotion you would play. Then I think you need to play if. Let's talk, there is no windows at all in that confined place. Then, you make that into, a black box. Now you play with emotions by using those artificial lights. As I told you, you need to use that sensibly, like creating those little light and dark spaces. Yeah, that plays again with the emotion.
I mean, it's crazy to think, imagine a space which is closed, no openings at all. Even in spite of having artificial light, you still crave for the opening.
Definitely.
Like,
because
time, right?
we want that, we need to see.
Right. Even when we were cavemen, like we wanted opening.
Yes.
Like even if you had a small hut, there was always a window. Right?
See, now as I told you that just the black box, okay? You just puncture just a 1 feet by 1 feet opening.
Right.
The emotions change.
Life.
It becomes life, right? Yes. It totally changes because we as humans, we always like
explore.
No.
What psyche it taps into,
you like to always connect with the nature. Yeah, that's the reason.
The placement of window is important, right? Is it the top opening? Is it the middle landscape opening?
Yeah, that's the thing which I was telling you that time about the vistas.
Yeah, vista is
the view. Vista is the view.
Right.
Yeah. So now if I am in the living room, and just assume like we are doing a beach villa. Okay, now what I see, the sea, and the white sand around it and all that. So how I capture it from my living room, what rooms I put, is all depending. Now you said, the longer picture frame windows. Can I capture it through that? Or can I have a bigger window? Or can I have a tiny window? Right. So it's all about that, the direction of you give.
And not just also about the external environment, but also the placement of windows.
Yeah, no, the placement depends on like what you see outside.
Right.
What you see outside.
And also how the light comes in also, right?
Definitely. There is.
If we have the wall here.
Yes.
If the window is here, like top.
Yeah.
It has a different feel, right? It evokes a different emotion.
It's a total different emotion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So emotion is...
Because when you have the top window, it will give you that very top light kind of a thing, like a clear story light. Yeah.
So what are the factors that influence the emotion? One is the light,
the space, the volume, the height. See, the moment you squeeze the room,
Mm-hmm.
like say you just make it like a 7-foot ceiling,
Right.
your total emotion changes. You get more claustrophobic again.
And not just emotion, actually, even cognitive ability.
Yes,
There's
you
something
really
called,
get
cathedral effect. Like when there's even surgery rooms, they have ceiling lower, that brings out critical thinking. Brains in the critical thinking mode. If the roof is high, it brings creative thinking, like lateral thinking.
I have not done
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much on that part, but I know it triggers your emotional thing. Like I've experienced by like going into different like heights of rooms and understanding. Yeah, but
So ceiling
definitely,
height is
yeah.
important
Sometimes,
in,
yeah, you feel in very low, you feel claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as it goes high, you feel open and you
Right.
feel good.
Ceiling height, window
Window
placement,
placement,
light, textures. What about textures?
Again, textures, paint,
Mhm.
all
I'm trying to
colors.
explain the. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
trying to explore the variations
Yeah.
involved. So
No, like see, colors play a big role in your emotions. A big role. That's another big vast subject.
So
Just
what
play with
does
colors.
white
See,
tells
see
us?
white,
Yeah.
see white, cream, and all that. They are very neutrals.
Mhm.
Okay, so like it goes with everything.
Right.
Got it? They're very neutral colors. But when you use like very bold colors like reds, oranges, and all that, they have a total different emotion. The
Intense.
blue has got a different emotion. Green has
Trustworthy.
got different emotions. So colors play a big role again on emotion of a person.
How does home layout affect family dynamics and mental well-being? Like, do you think of family dynamics when you design
Oh
a
yes,
space?
yeah. Because
The layouts.
no, these days like it's become quite easy for us because client come with their proper, you know, what is a brief.
Mhm.
How they need their kids' room, how they need their space, their study space, or all those things. It's been quite easy for us. Earlier, it was like it's like a proper interview we had to do with the client to understand their culture, like how, their background, how many people they are, how they entertain guests, how they all that.
Those details.
Yeah, those details because they are also very important to understand because especially when you're doing a house.
Right.
Yeah.
Even not just for the people inside the house, but also the guests who
how
come.
they entertain people, and they are very. Some people are very discreet. Some people are open. That thing we have to the client's personality, which we get it. Now that we have to put it in the layout. Then it happens, right? How now some people are very like outspoken. They're like quite bold. So that time they'll have those bold kind of layouts.
So
Yeah.
how do you play with the layout?
No,
More openness,
yeah,
is it?
it comes again with practice and that intuition. What
It's
we
intuition
have,
based.
yeah,
You
intuition
can't
based.
define.
We cannot define that, very.
But it matters.
Yeah, it matters. It matters.
Personality and
it matters because
dynamics.
some people, as I told you, who are very closed, so they don't want like large openings, large.
Right.
They want a very closed space.
So how about like if a family is more family oriented, like if they want more connectivity, human connectivity within the family, do you make sure there are places where they interact
it's
the most?
more interactive spaces.
More
interactive spaces. Yeah.
Or what is the ideal ratio between open and private space in a house?
It depends on the scale of the house. Like like how big the house is.
Right.
Yeah. But these days, what I've seen is people want like spaces to be quite open. Yeah, they have been very open these days because nowadays this generation they want more of open spaces. So I would say between your closed and open, it's almost 50-50 now. And some places I think we have reached around 70 for open space and 30 for only closed. Because some people just want only their bed, but let it be open, like.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you design for both solitude and social interaction?
Now, social interaction like is very important, which right now in many houses people don't use it. Okay. See, earlier we used to have, like if you see our colonial houses, Mangalorean houses, any houses, we had these veranda spaces, or we call it the portico space. So these were all social spaces where, you sit there and your neighbors would come and, chit chat and all that. Whereas these days, those spaces have been lost. Okay, we have put in many, we have been doing houses where we have been putting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all these veranda spaces and all that. And there are many people who also do that. But in some houses, I've seen, it's not there. It's totally gone. Those spaces have gone. Yeah. So I think it's a most important space, because I met our senior, who's no more, architect Charles Correa. So he was telling us, me and the fellow architects, how important these verandas are, and how that veranda has to be very open, so that it's a place of social connectivity, he said. Where you just talk to your neighbor or a passerby,
Right.
you need to have that kind of a social connection.
Right.
And these days you see, all 10, 12 feet walls, and we are disconnected with the social fabric. Yeah, there's a big disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
But in the US, I've seen their houses, they don't have all these high wall. Everything is connected. Yeah. Again, their security system,
Right.
everything is different. it's different. Yeah.
Right. So, and how about solitude? If they want a meditation room or something, very solitude.
That's what. No. We have clients like that right now. Where
they come up with a specification.
Yeah, specification that they want
design
to
a
separate,
space for me for the solitude.
separate meditation room and all that. So right now we have to just finalize it. There's a requirement. It's a big land, 3 acres land. Again, the separate meditation room outside. They want it again with the
more open,
more open and closed. You could say with the nice music, again having good landscape around and all that. Yeah, so each one has his own different.
You also have to take care of the acoustic of the space.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
You take a break?
Yeah.